Alright, I'm going to do a quick little video here on how to work your remote collar for your dog. So I know I've given you written instructions along with the go home lesson, but also I wanted you to have something to refer back to if you forgot how to do something or your significant other wasn't there for the lesson, so that they can see how to work the collar as well. So got your remote, got your collar part. Obviously the dog wears this, you hang on to this part. Both things have to be turned on and off separately. So to turn on your remote, the large button on the back that says on/off and light, you're going to press and you're going to hold it until your blue backlight comes on, and it will say on when it's on. So now the remote is on. I need to turn the collar part on the dog. This is super important because a lot of people actually forget that, and they just turn the remote on and put the collar on the dog, and the dog obviously is not going to respond because you have to have this on. So on your remote, you have a little red dot underneath the button that has a T on it. Little red dot on the dog's collar right here. They're actually magnets. So you want to touch them together. So touch them together, the little green light on here comes on. So that means it's on. Green is on. To turn it off, you would do the exact same thing. So if I want to turn my collar off after I've taken it off the dog, again, I'm going to put the two magnets together. Red is off. So let me put it here so you can see so green on, and you'll see the green flashing light every couple seconds. Collar is on. If I want to turn my collar off, again, touch the two red dots. Red is off. So to turn my remote off, after I've turned my collar off, again, the big black button on the back, I'm going to press and I'm going to hold that down until my display says off and it goes off. So now both things are off. So I'm going to go ahead and turn them back on. And I'm going to show you the reason that it says on, off, light, and why you're going to press and hold for on and off is that this has a nice little safety light. It has nothing to do with training, but it is a nice little added bonus feature of the collar. So if I want to turn that safety light on, instead of pressing and holding my black button down here, if I tap it once, I'm going to get a flashing light. Okay, so it's going to flash every second or so. If I tap it a second time, it's going to stay solid. A third time, it's going to turn that light off. So my collar and everything are still on. It's just that little LED safety light. So one tap is going to be your blinking light. 2 taps is going to be your solid light. 3 taps turns that safety light off. Okay? So everything's still on. The 2 buttons that you're going to use are the S button and this S button. So one is black, one is red. The reason for that is your black S button is going to give stim to the collar at whatever level your display reads here. Okay, so I know it's backwards in the video here for you guys. So black is going to, right now it's at a 16, so that's going to issue a level 16 stim to the collar, okay? As the 2 are communicating, you're going to see the red there, that means the 2 are communicating, which means everything is turned on, you've done everything correctly at this point, okay? Your red button is a boost button, and I tell people because it's red, it's kind of like your emergency button. So it's going to add 5 to whatever number is on your display. So right now my black button is set at a 10, which I know again is backwards to you guys in this video. If I hit my red button, it's going to jump to 15. Okay, so say your dog is running and it's about to run in front of the road, or it's about to grab a skunk or run into the mud pile, you want to stop them like right now. Rather than have to worry about making sure your finger's on there, turning the dial up, if you just hit that red, it's going to automatically give that little bit of a boost to kind of give the dog a little bit of a, hey, I said stop now type thing, okay? So, black button is the button you're going to use probably 98, 99% of the time. Your red button's going to be your little emergency button, your panic button, your boost button, okay? So, the dial here at the top, it turns in either direction. That is your little rheostat to turn your level up, turn your level down, okay? So, it turns fairly easily, but not enough that it's going to, like, if you turn it, it's going to spin from 2 to 100. It does not click in place, which is good because this has very subtle level changes, which is one of the greatest benefits of this type of collar versus what you get from the pet store. The pet store levels jump pretty much from, oh, I don't really feel that, to, oh, holy crap, that hurt. So this allows for nice subtle adjustments, which is a huge benefit for the dog. So if I was using this, I like to hold it in my right hand. My pointer finger, my middle finger, I kind of keep in this type of position. And I can turn the dial here with my pointer finger and my thumb. So actually, let me change that. I generally hold it like this. Since I rarely am going to use my emergency button, I have my middle finger on the black button, and I can have my fingers here if I need to adjust the level up and down. And I will explain why that comes into play here in just a second. So, stim button, boost, stim button, rheostat, on, off, light switch. The T button, which is the button on the side, basically what that does, it does a tone only. So if the dog so that's what it sounds like. So it's just the tone. Some trainers train that as a warning, and if they don't comply, then they use a high-powered correction device or correction stim. I don't train that way, so I rarely use the tone. Some people will use it as, say, like the dog's whining or something and they want to get the dog's attention, or, you know, whatever. You can use that tone. I haven't used the tone on your dog here, so likely if you accidentally press it or you press it, they're going to kind of look around like, hey, where'd that sound come from? So probably not going to use that button unless you come up with something that you want to use it for on your own with your dog. So again, that's the side button on its own that has a T on it. Okay, on the back here, the large on and off button, there's a smaller little black button. That is simply one that has different options. So right now, we see a 1D flashing, which means this is a one-dog device. There are ones that can expand to having a two-dog device. So one button would control one dog, one button would control the other dog. So 1D flashing, totally normal on your device. You have the level, which in this case is a level 8, and you have a C, which means constant. Which means as long as I'm going to hold these buttons down, you're going to see stim applied to the collar until I let go. Okay? And that's true for both of these buttons. The other mode is, and if I tap that little black button there, it goes through the different modes. So now there's an M, number, and C. Let me get it so where you can see that. Okay, hopefully you can see that. That simply means that the top button, the black button, no matter how long I press and hold it, it's only going to do 0.2 of a second worth of stim. And the red button does constant. Okay? The other mode, if I tap through there, is going to just be an M. And that's just going to mean that both of them, no matter how long I hold it, is only going to do 2/10 of a second worth of stim. So I like it to be on the C only, because that way I can control whether it's just a short little tap or a longer tap. Okay, so it should always be the level, the number, and a C. I don't want to see a M on there. I don't want to see an M number C, just the C. So if it accidentally gets changed, you're just going to tap and you're just going to toggle through those different modes until you get to where there's a C only. Okay? The other thing on the back here is your plug port for charging. So it's right there. The plug port on your collar for charging. Back here. It comes with a little splitter so you can charge both at the same time. It's just like a cell phone charger. Plug it into the wall. Plug each end into your things to charge. This and this will stay solid red until they're fully charged, and then it stays green until you unplug it. I recommend plugging it in every other night or so. It's going to last you a couple days. It's the type of battery that you don't want to let run all the way out. So it's better even if you every evening when you take it off the dog, if you want to plug it in that way, that's fine too. Okay, that's pretty much it on how it works. And the training, how we use it on the dog, will kind of vary between each dog. And I've given you your go home lesson, but this is basically the mechanics on how to turn your thing on and off, how to use the light, where the plug-in port is, and basically the mechanics of how this cool little device works. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, definitely get in contact with me. Don't worry. I'd rather have you contact me than worry about doing something wrong and not using it correctly. All right? Thanks for checking it out. Thanks.